Timeout for Python Requests.Get entire response. I'm gathering statistics on a list of websites and I'm using requests for it for simplicity. Here is my code. Now, I want Requests.Get to timeout after 10 seconds so the loop doesn't get stuck. This question has been of interest before too, but none of the answers are clean. I hear that maybe not using requests is a good idea, but then how should I get the nice things requests offer, the ones in the tuple?
Note, the timeout param does not prevent the request from loading forever, it only stops if the remote server fails to send response data within the timeout value. It could still load indefinitely. Set the timeout parameter. The code above will cause the call to Requests.Get to timeout if the connection or delays between reads takes more than 10 seconds. The timeout parameter accepts the number of seconds to wait as a float, as well as a or connect timeout, read timeout tuple. See request.request documentation as well as the timeout section of the advanced usage section of the documentation.
What about using eventlet? If you want to time out the request after 10 seconds, even if data is being received, this snippet will work for you.
Update this URL. In new version of requests, if you specify a single value for the timeout like this, the timeout value will be applied to both the connect and the read timeouts. Specify a tuple if you would like to set the values separately. If the remote server is very slow, you can tell requests to wait forever for a response by passing none as a timeout value and then retrieving a cup of coffee. My old, probably outdated, answer, which was posted long time ago. There are other ways to overcome this problem. 1. Use the timeout source internal class. From this URL. This code should cause us to set the read timeout as equal to the connect timeout, which is the timeout value you pass on your session.get call. Note that I haven't actually tested this code, so it may need some quick debugging. I just wrote it straight into the GitHub window. 2. Use a fork of requests from Kevin Burke, this URL. From its documentation, this URL. If you specify a single value for the timeout like this, the timeout value will be applied to both the connect and the react timeouts. Specify a tuple if you would like to set the value separately. Kevin Burke has requested it to be merged into the main requests project, but it hasn't been accepted yet.
Since request is greater than or equal to 2.4.0, you can use the timeout argument i requests.get https://duckduckgo.com/ timeout equals 10. You can also provide a tuple to specify connect and the read timeouts separately. Requests.get https://duckduckgo.com/ timeout sad face 5 8.5. A none timeout will wait forever. Not recommended. Note, timeout is not a time limit on the entire response download. Rather, an exception is raised if the server has not issued a response for timeout seconds. More precisely, if no bytes have been received on the underlying socket for timeout seconds. If no timeout is specified explicitly, requests do not time out.
If you want to support the channel, please consider liking and subscribing.